Hello and welcome to your daily dose of Satoshi's news. Today's day is Monday, the 1st of September 2025. The year BSV comes alive. Branch your threads, expand your mind with treechat.ai or your post put on chain. Right, let's see what we've got today. So this is more going to be a reason as to why we need Bitcoin on this show, because this is the anniversary of the start of World War II, which is just absolutely devastating. So we'll just remind ourselves of sort of like how it started and how it's going right now. You know, about why it was started, like where we are now with all the degeneracy that General Patton predicted on what's going on around the world. Like, honestly, it's just absolutely outrageous. And the only way we can stop this is with Bitcoin. I mean, they're stealing the farmers' food. It's heartbreaking. Listen to this World War II veteran describe what he's seeing today. But we've got CSW weighing in on the culturist, saying, what does the flag mean to you? Obviously, because we've got loads of Zionists and Satanists taking the George Cross down at the moment. Got another post there from him. We've got some 365 days of Bitcoin history, a question about the Kellenschweller countdown, and then we'll finish with that today because it's the 1st of September. We've got 17 days left. The Kellenschweller countdown finishes this month. It's going to be epic. Right, let's get into it.
Satoshi, like a cowboy in the West, riding on the blockchain that they call the very best. 1 million strong, and transactions flying free. Just wait for the terror node, you'll surely see.
Here we go. Right, so how it started and how it's going. Let's try. I put this post out. I said on the anniversary of the start of World War II, let's remember how it finished. And this was General George S. Patton on the 21st of July 1945. He said, "Gentlemen, I've come this morning to the inexcusable conclusion that we have fought on the wrong side. This entire war we should have fought with the fascists against the communists and not the other way round. I fear that perhaps in 50 years America will pay a dear price and become a land of corruption and degenerate morals." So let's see how that's going. So let's talk about the purpose of World War II and why it was started. So we've got this letter here from Albert Pike to Giuseppe Mazzini outlining how it would take 3 world wars to bring about a totalitarian one world government, a new world order, which is why all this corruption and degeneracy is taking place. So he said here the Second World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences between the fascists and the political Zionists. This war must be brought about so that Nazism is destroyed and that the political Zionism be strong enough to institute a sovereign state of Israel in Palestine. And again, that war, I think that the nation state of Israel was created in 1947. So he predicted this before the Second World War, that it would create this state of Israel in Palestine after they had the ceremony, the bow ceremony, in July. I think it was July in Chicago, and they called it romancing the people. So it was meant to be romancing the people of Palestine because they knew that they were going to invade their country. Invade their country. I mean, look what they've done now. It's outrageous. During the Second World War, international communism must become strong enough in order to balance Christendom, which would then restrained and held in check, or which would be then restrained and held in check until the time when we would need it for the final social cataclysm. And then it goes on about the Third World War, which is what they're trying to foment here. But it was all about like holding down and restraining, Christendom and breaking Christendom, turning priests gay, transgenderism and all that. It's all about breaking Christendom. So yeah, the land of corrupt morals and degeneracy, as General Patton was right. And look at this, what a slippery slope. It will never happen, they say. But again, no jab, no job. And look at this, 1995, love is love. We just want acceptance. 2005, we just want equality. 2012, bake the cake or go to court. 2015, say my pronouns or lose your job. 2023, the kids will watch drag shows. That's what's going on. It is scary. It is satanic. And Bitcoin is the only way we can stop this Satanism from progressing. Check this out. So, concerned citizen here said here, seriously, a $100,000 lifelong student debt for this. And this is a professor that teaches queer science communication. Look. It is just heartbreaking, the moral degeneracy that's going on. Look, like, what is the point? Like, there is nothing about farming or food or technology. Like, it is such an absolute complete waste of time, just utter degeneracy, which is what they're doing, bringing it into the university institutions. And talking about more degeneracy. Post here says, wow, the British government's crackdown on offensive social media posts has surged to over 30 arrests daily. That's roughly 10,900 yearly for expressing views including anti-immigration sentiment. This isn't democracy, it's authoritarian control. People are starting to realise, but is it too late? I mean, look at that. Has a crime been committed? No. Act in honour, do no harm, cause no injury or loss. Viewing a statement, well, are we being invaded? Well, clearly. But the government, I mean, it's totalitarian. It's scary as fuck what's going on. And again, it's all controlled by the banks. It's the banks that are funding all of this. Again, this is what's going on in Ireland. So Niall Boland said, so hanging an Irish flag from a public lamppost needs permission from the council. But opening an IPA centre doesn't require planning permission. You couldn't make it up. So that's what's going on in Ireland. And this was Japan. They said breaking protests erupt in Japan demanding the deportation of all illegal immigrants from Australia to Europe to Japan. Citizens are uniting for re-immigration. The globalist agenda is crumbling. Well, it's getting stronger. It's getting really scary. And saying that, I just need to remind everybody of what is coming. So let's have a look at this. Here we go. Should have been more prepared for this, but never mind. We'll get there in the end. Here we go. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. So, EU entry and exit system information about changing requirements for UK nationals travelling to countries in the Schengen area. From the 12th of October 2025, the European Union new entry-exit system, the EES, will begin. This is a new digital border system that will change requirements for British citizens travelling to the Schengen area. The countries in the Schengen area are Austria, Belgium, Bulgaria, Croatia, Czech Republic, Denmark, Estonia, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Hungary, Iceland, Italy, Latvia, Liechtenstein, Lithuania, Luxembourg, Malta, Netherlands, Norway, Poland, Portugal, Romania, Slovakia, Slovenia, Spain, Sweden and Switzerland. If you're travelling to a country in the Schengen area for a short stay using a UK passport, you will be required to register your biometric details. Look, they've got absolutely no right to ask for this at all. Is it going to be a doctor in charge of these biometric details? Your personal medical records? No, they've got no right at all. I mean, it's scary as fuck. Such as fingerprints and photo when you arrive. You do not need to take any action before you arrive at the border, and there is no cost. Oh, great, yeah, no cost. Your jabs are free, but, no jab, no job. EES registration. After it's fully implemented, the registration will replace the current system of manually stamping passports when visitors arrive in the EU. And again, any of these, when you're traveling to India or Pakistan or Afghanistan or anything like that, no, only the EU. And again, it all comes from the book of Daniel when God said, thou shalt not cleave, in referring to the European Union. So this is like literally this is a satanic agenda to get rid of all Europeans. All Europeans. That's what they want. That's what they want rid of. So it's just like, right, we're going to track you, then we're going to get rid of you. And as we'll see later, Yvette Cooper is now letting these illegal migrants, get jobs. I mean, it's just all part of the Kalergi plan. It's heartbreaking, really. Like, jeepers. And even Jack Poser said here, the men of West are rising. And this is Australia, I do believe. It's unbelievable. True blue Aussies are rising up. So it's happening absolutely everywhere. But again, it's a satanic agenda to take over the world. It's a one world government. That's what it's really about. Let's see what they said here. Freedom will bite back more fiercely when suspended than when she remains undisturbed. Well, we'll see about that. I mean, I hope so. But I mean, it's heartbreaking. Yeah, but I mean, these people don't know what to do. I mean, it's all very well like waving a flag and protesting, thinking that somebody else is going to do something, but nobody does. And they don't understand Bitcoin. Bitcoin is literally the only way out of this. There is literally no other way, because everything is controlled by the bankers. Everything is controlled by the bankers. And look at this. Well, unbelievable. Look at this. We'll just turn the volume down for YouTube's sake. Last Friday, the Blackpool lights were switched on. In addition to some brutal diversity barriers, people lined up to be searched. High walls surrounded the area. Armed police and snipers on the roof. Britain's quality of life is being sacrificed at the altar of multiculturalism. I mean, like, what the hell? I literally, for a Blackpool illuminations light switch on, because it's related to, Christendom. Again, they just want to anything as an excuse. Use anything as an excuse to stop people going out, lock people down. That's what they're doing. Bitcoin is the only way out. And Mike Ben said here, it's wild when you see it spelled out like that. So Bloomberg has said, want to slow climate change? Stop having babies. Only immigrants can reverse America's baby busts. So again, promoting the same thing that, the Sadiq Khan was saying, well, it's actually, the people of London or the people of Britain are actually causing more climate change than anyone else. We need to get rid of them. So only immigrants can reverse America's baby boomers. Well, it's not going to be American, is it? It's not going to be American culture. That's what it's all about. And Nicholas Lizak said here, the Home Secretary, Yvette Cooper, has unveiled plans to allow so-called refugees to legally work in Britain. This is yet another incentive for illegal migrants to pour in. We want mass deportations, not this. Once again, Keir Starmer's government is putting migrants first. But again, it's all part of the Kalergi plan. And Yvette Cooper is part of the satanic cult. Look at that. Absolutely disgusting. And then Neil Oliver has said here, read this, look, no farmers, no food, has said the Labour government's planning and infrastructure bill, a land grab. This includes compulsory purchase by public bodies in government, local and national. And again, they're all corporate. There are no public bodies or governments anymore. To buy land, so that will be BlackRock, State Street, Vanguard, which includes the Greenbelt farmland and also allotments at low agricultural value rather than full hope value. After purchase, they can sell land to a housing developer or solar panel company at full development value. The bill also gives compulsory purchase rights to acquire land for nature. This is not a level playing field for farmers and food growers. They will be forced to sell at low value, but the purchaser, often a local council, will be able to sell at full value. This is fundamentally wrong on so many levels. And again, this is where you need to bring in the Rotten Boroughs Act. The Rotten Boroughs Act of 1832, when the councils turned into corporations, they became so tyrannical that they ended up actually bringing in the Local Government Act 1888, 79, Section 2, where it specifically said if the councils ever incorporate ever again, then they would become liable for all the duties and liabilities of the inhabitants of said council. But again, that's not happening. But literally, the only obligation a corporation has is to its shareholders. So there's no way of paying tax or anything like that at the moment, because they're going into corporate pockets, not the public purse. Which is why you've got the likes of David Lammy just like living it up on private jets and all that. Like literally, they're not spending the money on the public. It's literally corruption to its absolute core, and it breaks my heart that people can't see it. But Bitcoin is the only way to fix it. And you've got all these shitcoiners out there, digital gold, digital dog shit store of value. I have no clue. And listen to this World War II veteran. Richard Taylor said here, this breaks me. The reason we have to fight and never give up. Let's have a listen.
To be honest with you, this is not the country I fought for. In my opinion, anyway. Things are different, and I don't know what would today. I think if the same thing was to happen today with the younger generation, I don't think they would cope as well as we did.
absolutely heartbreaking. Absolutely heartbreaking. And again, like, General Patton would want words with him. I mean, he fought in the Second World War. Imagine knowing that the only purpose of the Second World War was for a manufactured gold heist, literally. And again, in Europe, to steal all the gold from Europe, get the Europeans fighting each other. That was it for this satanic agenda. It's absolutely heartbreaking. But CSW weighed in here on the George Cross, because there's loads of people putting these up at the moment. Again, these Satanists trying to take him down. He said, I chose to be English because England is not merely a land. It is the cradle of a civilization that shaped the modern world. This flag, the Cross of St. George, stands for more than a saint and a dragon. It is the emblem of a people who built institutions that endure. Out of the soil of England came the common law, the great inheritance of ordered liberty, where justice is not decree by whim, but discovered in precedent, reason and fairness. Magna Carta first bound the king beneath the law, and from that moment forward the principles were clear. No man, however powerful, stands above justice. Again, I mean, it's been torn down now, but this is what we need to go back to. It was in England that Parliament took root, that the idea of representation grew into practice, and that the balance of powers began to tame arbitrary rule. From here came the defence of rights and liberties that spread across the world, trial by jury, habeas corpus, the presumption of innocence. These are not abstract notions, they are the pillars of a rational society, hammered out over centuries of struggle, rebellion and reform. To be English is to stand within that tradition. It is to claim the lineage of the thinkers and the statesmen who shaped the Enlightenment, who advanced science, literature and philosophy, who laid the foundations of reason, discourse and civic freedom. And again, it's all being diluted by this Satanism that's coming in, as transgenderism, the worshipping of Baphomet. It is to inherit a history of defiance against tyranny, which is what we're up against right now, from Runnymede to the Bill of Rights, and to carry forward the knowledge that liberty is never given but must be guarded and renewed. He knows, and at the moment, like the normies, all the NPCs have no idea what's going on. He said, I chose to be English because I chose to belong to that story, to bind myself to the legacy that built modern rational society, to carry the torch of a people whose greatest gift to the world was not conquest or empire, but the idea that law is higher than rules, that truth is higher than power, and that reason is the measure of a man. That is what the flag means to me, and why I stand beneath it as English by choice. Wow, what a fantastic statement there from CSW. Like, just absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Honestly, just amazing. Amazing. Brings a tear to my eye reading that. And he also continues here. He says, because parasites always circle where there's a substance, the purity wanker throws around half-digested phrases as if they were revelations. And again, it's all by design. It's all these Satanists doing it. Not realizing the very source he leans on have been dismantled 100 times over. He hasn't read deeply. He hasn't fought with the material. He hasn't done the hard work. He's parroting contradictions already exposed, already answered, already consigned to the pile of bad philosophy. That's why you attract them, because you've actually studied, actually read, actually mastered the ground they only skim. They think throwing out buzzwords makes them thinkers, but what they're doing is rehearsing errors in front of someone who can see through them instantly. They can't stand that, so they double down, sneer and call it logic. What you're dealing with isn't philosophy, it's performance, and a bad one at that. Well, it's a satanic performance is what it is that we're dealing with. All right, let's get on to some 365 days of Bitcoin. We've already read this out on the 1st of September 1939. And again, after they'd been funding Hitler ever since 1933. The commencement of World War II when Germany invaded Poland, financed by the Jewish bankers, in an attempt to rid Europe of the Baal and Moloch worshipping satanic Zionist scourge. And again, that's what the Second World War was created for. So on the 1st of September 2015, there was an open letter to the Bitcoin community from developers. Check this out. 2015. Let's see if it's still there. An open letter to the Bitcoin community from developers. From yours truly, the satanic bastards Blockstream. As active contributors to Bitcoin, we share this letter to communicate our plan of action related to technical consensus and Bitcoin scalability. Yes, in other words, we're not going to scale it. We're just going to build a second layer solution that the Satanists are going to own and control, and it's going to be store of value, all this crap. And look at all these developers here. Oh my God, Charlie Lee's on there. Vladimir Van der Laan, another one gone trans. Peter Wool, I'm sure he'll probably follow. Luke Dash Jr. eats cats. Corey Fields, don't know about him. Greg Maxwell, head of the Deep State technical team. Peter Todd's there, trying to say that he was Satoshi. What an absolute joke! What an absolute joke! Well, at least they've named it. At least they've named them all there. Got ya. They'll probably take that down sooner or later. Right, check this out. So Tony BSV said, Satoshi, what's the Kellenschweller countdown? Heard you say it countless times, but I have no idea what it is. You'll have to stay tuned to find out. Oh, yeah. And we are here, the Kellenschweller countdown. It is now the month of September, which means we've got 17 days left until the Kellenschweller countdown finishes. But you won't know what the countdown is until it happens. Will it happen before the end of the countdown? Like, who knows? But when it does happen, I will let everybody know, and we'll see how sort of like far off or close we were to the event that takes place that this countdown is counting down to. It's going to be exciting. So remember, hit like, press the subscribe button. You're not going to want to miss all the shenanigans that happens between now and then. So until then, be aware, take care, stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next one.
The king still has one more move.